going on, guys? Grab my goobers here. It is March 22nd. It is a Thursday. I'm on my way to pick up my fiance to take her to work. Just decided to do a little vlog thing here. Let you guys know what was going on, what's new in my life, and everything else. For starters, my fiance has got a job working at a flower shop, boxing flowers and stuff like that. She was getting disability. She has rheumatoid arthritis or no, lupus, not rheumatoid. I think rheumatoid is the worst. She has lupus, which isn't much better, but yeah, she was getting disability for about 5 years, because every time she would try to hold a job, her hands would swell up and things like that, so she's always going to have that, unfortunately. But yeah, Pennsylvania decided that she could work all of a sudden, because she was doing better through her treatment and everything, the pills she's taken for it. I mean, it was better than when she first got approved to be on the disability. However, I know that it's only a matter of time before it acts up again. But anyway, so they cut her benefits, so we had to do something in order to pay the bills. I mean, I could make it with just my job and pay everything, but it would be extremely tight. There wouldn't be much money left after that, so she decided on her own choice that she was going to get a job. So the very first place she actually went to fill out an application, they asked her if she could start that day, and she couldn't because she had doctor's appointments and stuff that day, but she started, I think, 2 days later, and she's on her second week now, and she is boxing and moving heavy stuff, and her hands do hurt her, but she seems to be doing okay. I'm really proud of her. But so she's got it's part-time, like 1 to 6:30 in the evening, or sometimes 2, like today it's 2 to 6:30. On one day she does work 12 hours though, like 7 in the morning to 7 at night. And when there's holidays and stuff, she has to go in, like this Sunday, she's going to have to go in and work a couple hours because of the holiday coming up, because of Easter. But so yeah, she's got a job now. I've got, obviously, you've probably seen in some other videos, I've got a new truck. It's a 94 GMC Suburban. It's got 195,000 miles on it, but it runs pretty good. I had to do a few things to it to get it to where I wanted it to be. The gas gauge didn't work when I got it. The sending unit was out, so I had to pull the tank out and replace that. Intake manifold was leaking in the back where you couldn't see it, so I had to pull the top of the engine apart and replace that. In the process of doing that, I broke the coolant temperature sensor. I think it was on its way out. I don't even know how that broke. And also idle air control valve, I think is what it was called, on the side of the intake. That also broke off. I'm not sure how that happened either. So I had to replace those 2 sensors and the gasket. And I did the valve cover gaskets too. Well, I had that off, even though they look like they were new. Did an oil change, transmission fluid and filter change, and just pretty much tuned it up. I didn't do the spark plugs yet. The wires are new, but the spark plugs are old, so somebody just put new wires on. But it runs pretty good. I mean, I got it for a pretty good price, so pretty happy with it. We wanted to get something 4-wheel drive. Her brown two-tone truck was 2-wheel drive. Didn't do good in the snow. The inspection was actually, excuse me, the inspection was actually out on that. So it would have needed a muffler and a tailpipe to pass. and maybe something else that I can't think of right now. But we wanted to move on, get something 4-wheel drive, so we got this. But pretty happy with it. I tested the 4-wheel drive out, and it does work. So yeah, we got this. Not about going down in gas mileage. Actually, I think her truck was about 11 miles to the gallon. This is probably more around 9 or 10 miles to the gallon. And it's got a bigger tank, 32, 33 gallons. So it's quite costly to drive. But yeah, you know, whatever. We wanted to get either another truck or a big SUV so I could still haul my pinball games and stuff like that, and things that we get. I mean, obviously we won't be able to get everything in here that we could get in her truck, but we can still haul some big stuff. And if it comes down to it, I could use my S10 and get some stuff in there, as long as I do it carefully. But yeah, so speaking of pinball machines, got an update on that. I know in my other video that I posted, I said that in the future I was going to be going after an Addams Family pinball, which is my holy grail pinball game of all time. It was probably the second pinball machine that I ever remember playing. There's only 2 games in my entire life of pinball that I remember playing, and they were both, well, no, they weren't both at the same place. The one was at the bowling alley where I bowled on a league, and that was a Terminator 2. That's the very first pinball game that I ever remember playing, ever. I mean, I might have played one, my parents might have put me on one when I was younger or whatever, but I don't remember it. So T2, I'm going to call it my first pinball game that I remember playing. So that's also one that I wanted to get, but the other game that I played that I remember highly was Addams Family, the Addams Family, and that was at a local place called Wings to Go many years back. And me and a buddy of mine would go in there and get some wings, get some of their homicide wings, and kill ourselves with them and play some Addams Family pinball. And I remember doing really good. That's one of the first pinball games that I remember where I realized that there was somewhat of a rule set. Like T2, I think I was just playing, just hitting the flippers, flipping both of them at the same time, just aiming for whatever, you know. This one I started, the Addams Family, I started to realize, well, you know, you can get more of a score if you do this or whatever. So I started trying to play it and did pretty good at it. But it was always one that just, I mean, I love T2 and I'm definitely going to get one at some point. But Addams Family was always top of the list. So, where am I going with this? Well, I know in my other video I said that I was going to get one. Eventually, I was going to start saving. Well, a little change of plans. There's a place called TNT Amusements, which is in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I don't know how far it is from here, but probably not too far. But they do layaway plans. So basically, I've made my first $50 payment towards it. It's not going to be cheap. It is going to be full LED'd out. It's going to have the color changing DMD, and it's going to be in really good shape. The cabinet's going to be touched up. I mean, he doesn't sell junk there. He's a dealer. He has people, technicians that fix them up. They fix, I mean, when they get them in, they completely redo stuff, replace the batteries with a 5-year lithium battery, and touch up all the solder, and they just do a whole bunch. So they don't sell garbage. Their games are really beautiful, actually. And I'm going to be getting one from there. So, yeah, I made my first $50 payment. I'm going to pay weekly. It's going to take about a year, I figure, to get it paid off, but eventually, about this time next year, I should have an Addams Family in my possession. And of course, I will do a video of my adventures. I'm going to drive and get it because it's probably only a couple hours, so I'm going to do a video on doing that. So, yeah. Alright, well, I'm at my house now, so I'm going to get going, and I will see you later.